The Masters 2022 returned with a bang and brought many talking points in the golfing world. Scottie Scheffler's first ever major win was a massive talking point after an incredibly dominant performance and a win by 3 strokes over Rory McIlroy at the Augusta National. However, his win seems to have been overshadowed by something bigger than the sport, and that was the return of Tiger Woods. The backstory of Woods' return. Just over a year ago, Tiger Woods was involved in a horrific car crash, and the world collectively held their breath as the news emerged. Thankfully, it was soon confirmed that Woods survived, although he suffered some serious injuries. Golf wasn't on anyone's mind at that time, obviously, and people were more concerned about the chances of Woods pulling through and making a full recovery. Over the next few weeks, news emerged that Woods had suffered serious injuries to his talus bone, a bone that connects the bottom portion of the leg to the top of the foot. It's a crucial pivot point and helps with any kind of motion. This was in addition to Woods being unconscious, bruises on his ribs, and a fractured tibia, among others. Despite a long time in rehab, there was no confirmation as to whether a return for Woods is possible anytime soon, if at all. Since his accident, Woods had only been seen on the course once, and that was in October watching his son at a junior event in Florida. Despite posting footage of himself hitting a golf ball on a driving range, Woods, in his first extensive interview since the accident, confirmed that he'd never return full-time on the tour, even if he was to make a comeback. The return of Tiger Woods. There were a lot of murmurs about a potential return to Augusta National for Woods, but it seemed like the Masters might come too early for him. Any casual fan would even tell you about the determination of Tiger Woods, so ruling him out wasn't something even the most cynical would do. Justin Thomas confirmed that Woods played around with Charlie Woods and himself, and that was when the internet really went crazy. Even though it wasn't confirmed, at that point, people refused to believe that Woods wouldn't show up at the Masters 2022. He was in the official lineup for the tournament as well, and then, in his press conference, Woods said what the entire world wanted him to say. "As of right now, I feel like I'm going to play." That was the confirmation, and the fans couldn't wait to finally see the greatest golfer of all time in action. As you all know, Woods wouldn't make a comeback just for the hype and sake of it. He's been a winner all his life, and when he was asked if he thought he could win the Masters 2022, he told the media that yes, he could. Again, saying something isn't the hard part. It's following up on your words, and Woods did just that. Woods' performance at the Augusta National. All things considered, he put in a fabulous performance, almost getting a hole-in-one and landing his first birdie on the same day, finishing the day at 1 under par. Fans didn't know what to expect, but that's the thing about the GOATs. They can put on a show even if they have a bit of rust and haven't been in action for a while. We saw that with Federer, Nadal, Ronnie, Hendry, etc., and Woods reminded us just how good he can be. It wasn't enough to land him a win, of course, although there were flashes of Woods' brilliance throughout the performance. The crowd completely lost it when he made a long putt on the 16th hole and pulled out the vintage Tiger fist pump. That wasn't only nostalgia, because it shows that Tiger wasn't done just yet. He proceeded to make a clutch putt to save par on 18, and that was just the cherry on top of one of the most remarkable comebacks for someone who hasn't played on the tour since 2020. There was the limp, of course, and it seemed to be something that Woods might have to live with for the rest of his life. At times, navigating the uneven field of the Augusta, Woods couldn't help but use his golf club as a walking stick. It seems like age has also caught up with him, but the hunger, desire, and the style, along with rotation and rhythm, seem to be the same as it was during the last 3 decades. Sporting World reacts to Woods' comeback. The golfing fans weren't the only ones excited about Tiger Woods' comeback. He remains the biggest reason that golf became so much popular over the last few decades. It didn't come as a surprise that the sporting world got together to praise Woods on his remarkable return, and we've gathered some famous names that paid tribute to Mr. T. Conor McGregor, star of UFC and one of the biggest names in the sporting world, took to Twitter to congratulate Tiger on his return. He was full of praise for the golf GOAT and mentioned how grit and hard work can go a long way in helping to make a comeback. Pep Guardiola, coach of Manchester City Football Club, had his biggest game of the season to prepare for, but despite that, immediately after the game, he mentioned how he couldn't wait to get home and catch the final rounds of Woods' comeback. Rory McIlroy had already explained how the golfing world needs Woods to make a comeback and was full of praise for his fellow golfer. Similarly, Paige Spiranac, a former golfer, also tweeted in admiration of Woods. Many others joined these big names in congratulating Woods, and that shows the kind of impact he's had, not only on the golfing world, but way beyond that too. Can Woods win another Masters title? The fact that we're having this conversation shows how far Woods has come since that horrific accident. We're just glad to have our GOAT back and playing at the highest level. However, the GOATs just don't settle for less, do they? They don't just want to play, they want to win, and that's what makes them so good, and why we can't stop obsessing over them. Perhaps the craziest thing has to be the fact that golfing analysts haven't written him off, and no one should. Woods isn't a stranger to comebacks. He had multiple surgeries on his back, and that was the first time many people in the golfing world made the mistake of writing Tiger off. After complete domination of the 2000s, Woods was almost 11 years without a Masters win, and it was probably expected that so many people wrote him off. The stage was Augusta then as well, as Woods came back and did what no one thought he could ever do, and won the Masters with a sensational performance. And that's why it'd be stupid to think that Woods can't do it again. Phil Mickelson won a title at the age of 50, so it's probably fair to say that Woods has at least one more Masters title in him. Unlikely, yes. It'll be an unreal story should it happen, but that's probably why it could actually happen. The good thing is, Woods says that he's finally enjoying the game and doesn't feel the pressure to win. We'd argue that's probably when these athletes are at their best. Plus, don't forget, he's still chasing the record of 18 Masters titles, so there's a reason to go for it, and winners never really quit, do they? Tiger's leap in world rankings. Tiger's impressive performance at the Masters wasn't only great in terms of emotion and what it stood for, it was great for several reasons, and statistically speaking, it has contributed to helping him rise over 200 places in the official world golf ranking. Competing at the Augusta National against the world's best isn't exactly an easy feat, but he came out with flying colors as he made the cut, finishing 47th. This win helped him rise from number 973 in the world and up to as high as 228 places into world number 745. Of course, it still isn't a pretty reading by any stretch of the imagination, and Woods, of all people, wouldn't read too much into it. The goal is hardly becoming world number one again, a position he held for 280 consecutive weeks between 2005 and 2010, and almost 679 weeks in total. He won't be joining the tour on a full-time basis and plans to manage his schedule by playing a couple of tournaments here and there. That wouldn't help him much, but if he can keep stringing these kinds of performances, he'll quickly rise to the top 100, if not even more. To be fair, no one should read into the rankings. After all, he hasn't played on the tour since 2020, although fans don't need to wait too long for his next appearance. Woods has confirmed that he will be playing the British Open, which he calls his favorite golf course in the world, while also signing up for the US Open in Brookline, Massachusetts. Bring it on. That's a wrap for this video. Do you have anything to say about Tiger Woods' sensational return? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.